What's going on, traders? Welcome back to another video. So recently I went through 100 recent IPO stocks, or a list of 100 stocks that had recently became publicly traded within the market, and I came up with a handful of some pretty good looking stocks I think you guys might be interested in keeping on watch or just keeping up with. So let's get into the screen share so we can take a look at these stocks. Now, I don't know a whole lot about every single one of them because I didn't go, diving into every single little aspect of them, but simply went through 100 charts and I came up with the list of about 9 stocks here. So the first one we're going to take a look at is JMIA. So JMIA, I think, has only been on the market here for 2 days, right? So 1, 2. So this one's only been on the market for 2 days, but it's been having a pretty phenomenal start so far, from $18 all the way to a high of $39 today. Now, this isn't to say that this stock is going to keep ripping and roaring, but considering the past 2 days, it's been pretty crazy. I think this is something that would be a good thing to keep a watch on. Right, so this is Jumia or JMI Technologies. Again, it's been on the market for 2 days, and since then it's increased from 18 to 39, or basically $40. So very interesting movements here, and this might be something you guys are interested in keeping on watch. Next one we have going on is TW. So TW been on the market a little bit longer. Been on the market for a couple weeks now, but you can see it started at 33, hit a high of $44 today. So this thing's been pretty bullish since the start of its IPO. Now, this isn't to say that it's going to continue going up in the same fashion, but it's had a really good start. And, there's a reason why it's going up. People like it. People want to invest in it for one reason or the other. And I think it's got potential with the way it's been trading and the way it's been moving. It's been moving pretty nicely, so this might be another one you want to keep on watch. All right, moving forward with LEVI. Now, you guys will know this one, Levi and Strauss Company. So this has been on the market for a couple days, or a couple weeks, excuse me, and it's had a choppy start going up and down, back and forth. But since its past earnings report, it had a strong gap up and a nice push off the 9 moving average. It's now testing previous highs here, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see this pull back. But you guys, as well as I am, are probably very familiar with the company Levi and Strauss, so I think it's probably worth keeping on watch. It's a big brand name, so I don't see why this shouldn't be on maybe your guys' watch list, or just kind of keeping it on watch. Ever since its earnings play, the gap up, we kind of faded out here a little bit, but held strong, and now we're pushing back in the upwards direction. Shortly after an inverse head and shoulders pattern, which, by the way, let me get my drawing tools up here so you guys I can point it out a little bit more clear for you. So see this inverse head and shoulders pattern take place right here. And a nice move breaking over previous highs. So this is definitely something to keep on watch. On to the next one is TIGR. Now this one, not going to lie, I've been killing it. So TIGR, another really, really good solid move, all the way from $8 to $19. This one has been on an absolute rip show since its IPO date. Really hasn't been too much shaking around. It's been a consistent uptrend move. Now, I will say this, this is definitely trading well, but right now it is extended over the 9 moving average. So let's kind of walk through this one, right? You see the nice move up, kind of pulls back. It's got another big move. It gets a little space, right? There's a kind of a big gap from price action to this moving average right here. We pull back to the moving average, we hold, and we go on another run. So what do you think is likely to come? Probably some type of pullback, which brings it closer to the moving average before we're to see another run, or we might break down. But as of right now, buy-wise, little extended from support, but nonetheless, pretty solid trend so far, and it's trading very nicely. Next one on the list is MRNA. Now, this one's been on the market for quite some time now, but since its IPO, it dropped out. It hit a 52-week low of $13, and since then, it's been on a pretty consistent move to the upside. Now, we are a little bit over its moving averages, and we are a little bit over support in terms of trend line. So wouldn't be surprised if we see kind of some consolidation getting us closer to this trend line in the future before we see any future moves to the upside again. But nonetheless, pretty good movement. And as you can see right now, we went through a nice move. We pulled back. We're holding previous high levels, which is right about there actually. But right in this zone, we're starting to see some buyers come in. Next one on the list is Yeti. You guys obviously know Yeti. Yeti started off a little bit shaky from its IPO, kind of just channeling back and forth before having a bad earnings report, falling all the way down to 12. And since $12, I mean, this thing's been on pretty much a steady rip for the most part. You know, so another pretty solid uptrending stock here from its IPO date. Next one on the list is PHAS. I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with this one because recently on an absolute big push. Now this one went all the way from $3 up to $16. Now typically when we have a penny stock shoot up and skyrocket like this, they typically come crashing back down. But since the stock did not come crashing back down, we no longer treat it as a penny stock and we treat it as a regular mid-cap stock that's now starting to push up. So another pretty solid move. Now this one, I would be a little less hesitant to actually buying or trying to get in. I'd actually wait for this to pull back, more or less because this is a very aggressive upwards move, not particularly trending. It's more or less just going up. So this is something I'd be a little bit more hesitant to actually buying, and I'd probably wait for some consolidation before actually making a move on PHAS. Next one here is a healthcare stock, GH. GH IPO'd at $27, and now it just ran all the way up to 100, drops out all the way down to 60, and now it's kind of in a consolidation zone, right? We've had our nice move up, we've had our drop down, we're kind of bouncing. This is where you look to see if it creates consolidation and wait for some type of wedge snap, hopefully to the upside there. All right. Another one, actually the last one we have is VIOT, and from what I can remember, I believe this one was very good looking too. Yeah, so this one is actually something I'm very interested in because all the ones I mentioned were just performing pretty well, but this is one that I'd actually consider buying like right now because it appears to be a pretty solid bullish pennant, bull flag, whatever you would choose to call that. Pretty solid here, right? We had our nice move up, we pulled back, we pressed highs, we're consolidating, including a flat top, ascending wedge. This appears to be almost a picture-perfect bull flag. Bull flag, bullish pennant, looking to break out over highs of $12. Now I will say this thing doesn't trade astronomically high in terms of volume. It doesn't trade relatively that much volume. So this isn't something that I would ever day trade. This is something that you'd have to swing trade, right? Look at the volume intraday. Intraday volume is extremely low, right? So you can't really day trade that. This is something that's more along the lines, you grab some shares, you swing it, because you just can't day trade that. I mean, you could buy, and then if it goes up, you could sell on the same day, but the volume's so low that you're not going to be able to get in with dramatic size and get out very quickly if you want to get out without probably enormous amounts of slippage, which then is going to screw up your profit or make your loss even worse. So not something to day trade, but definitely something to keep your eyes on, as we were literally in, basically, from what it appears, a picture-perfect bull flag and bullish pennant. So, you'd basically draw your trend lines, flat top, trend up, wait for it to get pushed into this wedge a little bit more, and then break over this level and get a push over high. So definitely something to consider swing trading here. Whether or not I purchase or not may be a different story. I might, I may not. It all depends. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and I think you guys should too. So those are the 9 recent IPOs that I feel are on track and performing pretty well from just a technical visual side from the charts. So with that being said, hope you guys liked the video. Hope you learned something new. Make sure to like the video, share it, subscribe it, whatever you got to do. But make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you guys on the next one.